Oh, I do enjoy spending my Camino nights in a hotel room. Oh, I do like these early morning strolls out of town. The cool air, the quiet, the doves cooing in the background. At this point, I'm thinking about the day's potential for a wonderful hike and not the heat wave building a couple of hours from now. At the moment, it feels as though our destination, Tomar, is not far, just down the road. One note about Golegã before we leave it for good. It's called the horse capital of Portugal because horse breeders have been coming here since the 18th century. And in November, the town hosts a 10-day fair devoted to everything equestrian, and in particular the Lusitano breed. I can't imagine it's as wild as the bull-oriented festivals we missed in Azambuja and Vila Franca de Xira, but maybe horse people like to let loose too. Okay, we're leaving, what's the name of this town? Golegã. They're all starting to run together now, even after just 6 days. Anyway, we have a 30-kilometer day, and that is 2 kilometers shorter than the last 2 days, which, I don't know, maybe that makes a difference in our legs, but you know, our feet are getting a little sore. We're tired of the heat. So if we have to walk 2 kilometers less, yeah, I'm not going to be bothered by that. Breakfast at 7:30. The hotel was kind enough to pack us a breakfast. It's a 5-star hotel, you know. Least they could do. That's because breakfast started for them at 7:30 and we wanted to be out by 6. The whole point is to get to our next destination without too much grueling heat. Yesterday we left at 6:30 as well and didn't get to the hotel until 7. And that meant that we were washing our clothes pretty late and had to put on some damp clothes here. They haven't quite dried yet. Now, the reason we got in so late is because we dawdled a little bit. No problem. We figured we have a room reserved. It didn't matter what time we got in. And dawdling is our way of getting through the day, because otherwise if we were rushing we'd be exhausted by the end of the day, and that's not happy. More walking along a highway. Fortunately, this one has a wide dirt shoulder, and the few cars that pass us do so with a great deal of separation. In what seems like a short distance, we arrive in a village that's about to have some wealthy neighbors. Quinta da Cardiga is a really old place, dating back to 1169 when Alfonso Henriques, Portugal's first king, granted it to the Knights Templar. You know, those crusader guys who had it out for Muslims. Of course, to be fair, Muslims had it out for the Crusaders as well. The residency didn't last long. That's a complicated story. And the buildings and land were deeded over to the Order of Christ, who turn it into a farm. They produced, among other things, wine and olive oil. This place was considered so important in the 16th century that they actually rerouted the river so it would be closer. Sometime in the 20th century, it was abandoned, and now there is a luxury hotel being built on the grounds. As far as I know, they're not taking reservations yet. Maybe I'll check back in a couple of years. As for the hike, the route slips in and out of several suburb-like neighborhoods. The midday weather is oppressively hot. A quick little hug at a rest stop is a damp endeavor. We eventually leave the concrete sidewalks for a eucalyptus forest that has its own set of issues, mainly navigation and how to interpret some pretty ambiguous arrows. Like we go right or straight? Okay. It's crazy. You go up, yeah, up. Wonderful. Up.
They thought the Fatima going up that way.
I know. I saw the blue arrows. Well, let's just trust the app.
It looks like it ends up in the same place.
Although steep, the Camino here is at least woodsy and quiet. If nothing else, when the way emerges into more neighborhoods, there is a certain charm to the place. Eventually, late in the day, we finally come to Tomar's outskirts and perhaps some forgotten history. This place is special for the Portuguese. That's because this chapel commemorates when in 1783 Spanish troops were defeated near here and Portugal became an independent state. We pause for our last views of the Rio Tejo. I do feel a little impatient, like this lackadaisical moment is slowing us from reaching our hotel. But then I remind myself how presumably we will never be here again. Soaking up a little beauty is exactly what our heat-drained bodies need. Then again, other ideals start to intrude. Boy, am I looking forward to our hotel tonight. Yeah, hotel. With a private bath and a comfy bed. At least we hope so. You know, there seems to be this rule on the Camino that you must stay at an albergue. I don't know, so maybe something about the lack of comfort is a necessary part of the experience. There you get to share a room full of bunk beds and a communal bath with like-minded pilgrims. And snoring among your roommates is almost always assured. There are advantages, of course. Albergues don't cost that much, maybe as much as 20 euros a night. And there is that sense of community among your Camino travelers and pilgrims. But we prefer hotels where we get to reserve our room for the night and breakfast is almost always included. I guess the bottom line is it's our choice, and if we decide to break a couple rules, so what? I gotta say, Tomar is far more touristy than I expected. And clearly, this middle-aged Spider-Man isn't here for the locals. The main attraction, however, is the town's connection to a bunch of medieval crusaders. The Knights Templars show up again in Tomar. They used it as a stronghold in the mid-12th century. Interestingly, women were allowed to join the order, but not to fight. And the Knights Templar disbanded in the early 13th century. And yet they live on in Tomar as figurines in a gift shop. I can now say this Camino has it all.